Lived here a long time ago, but what I wanted to go do was experience 3 things that I had seen from the outside but never experienced from the inside. So I went to number 1, Wrigley Field up here with an old professor from my university, and he's had season tickets to the Cubs for 30 years, and I figured it would be a fun treat to just invite him to one of the opening day games, and I did that, and it was a blast. Another one was to go visit a historic home right down in this neighborhood, right there, called the Glessner House. It was designed by H.H. Richardson, Henry Hobson Richardson, one of my favorite architects, just to experience what one of his houses would look like. I'd been to one of his buildings before, but I'd never been to a house. And then the last one was the famous Roby House, 7 miles south of downtown, right in the heart of the University of Chicago. Right there, here's the University of Chicago, it's sitting right there, and that was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. So I just wanted to share with you some of the insights and things I gleaned from my experience after, 20 years of education and doing this as a residential architect primarily, and what I learned. So, number 1, let's start with the fun stuff. Baseball. Great American pastime sport. Last year, I went to the Twins game up in Minneapolis, St. Paul. The year before that, I went to Fenway Park, so I'm trying to make my rounds around all these baseball stadiums and how they integrate into the urban fabric and what that's like, the overall experience, and how it can just help generate community rather than having a stadium isolated in a parking lot in the middle of nowhere, which we can call the mixed stadium. And so this one is in the heart of a neighborhood. Look at this. Homes, and guess what's on top of these homes? Those are bleachers. Those are bleachers that sit on top of these homes that look over the stadium, and it's pretty remarkable. Here's some more bleachers on homes right there, looking over the wall. And loft seat, I don't remember what they call it, but there's a name for those seats. And the famous sign is right there. We were sitting right there. That's where we were, and the view was great. Exceptional game. Talked all about architecture, what's been happening at Notre Dame, former professors, former students, where they're at now, that type of stuff, and just having a good time reminiscing and catching up with an old friend. And no better place to do that than watching a baseball game. So hopped on the train right there, came back down to downtown, and delivered me back at the hotel where we were staying. I was staying right there downtown, right across the street from Grant Park. So here's an interesting thing. This Glessner House. Let me see if I can type it in here and show you a little bit of what that. Whoa! Oh man, pulled up. So this is what it looks like. It's in the Romanesque style, and I've always loved how just masculine and heavy this style looked. I've been to some old Romanesque homes, Romanesque style homes in other places, but I've never been to one of H.H. Richardson's homes. And one of the interesting things is every woman that I know would hate this house because they want light and they want space. Those windows, not super huge. And so it is dark. It does feel like a castle. It looks like a castle, feels like a castle. It was interesting, my personal reaction to it. Details were great. Materials were great. Richness was great. But it did feel a little bit dark, drab, and gloomy. And I get it. It's like we want light, bright, and happy, not dark, drab, and gloomy. And then, so that was, it was like, ho-hum experience, not super great. And my last tour that I did was the Roby House, which was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. in 1910. And I don't know if you've seen that picture before, but this was in 1910. When you look at the context in which this was built, it's honestly kind of remarkable because it was so antithetical to everything that was being designed at the time. He had designed a few other houses similar to this, and this is pretty much the house that introduced modernism. It opened the door to everything. Open floor plan. Before this, it was just rooms. There were just rooms that, everything was designed with a room and openings from room to room to room. This was just open space floor plan, open the door to essentially kind of the demise of the American home. And also on the back side of this is an attached 3-car garage. The first attached specifically 3-car garage is this house that has introduced that in 1910. So super cool house. I was really surprised how much I actually liked it. The details are immaculate. The materials are natural and immaculate. They're absolutely beautiful. But it opened the door to the consequences that we face today in all of our suburban environments. And all of the homes that aren't really well designed today are essentially little bastard children of that guy because of the design principles that came from here embedded in the modern home. But this was it, the advent of modernism. It looks kind of dark and drab and gloomy up in there, but that room that expands the entire length of this, it's actually very light and bright. It's absolutely amazing. So anyway, go research that house. It's pretty fun. And